everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Two Words, our show where we review things in the world of television, most commonly doing these episode-by-episode reviews of currently on-air shows on the air. Today we are starting a brand new journey here, our 16th sub-series of episode reviews. We are here today to begin our Suits LA journey. And if you have been watching me for many years, this is the first time I'm dressing up for the occasion. It's a show about suits. Okay, not really, not exactly, but I was like, you know what? I might as well. It's gonna be a very comfortable. I mean, I wear dress shirts all the time at work, so it's not new to me. But like, I'm home. This is what necessarily I would be wearing, like, you know, to be wearing a suit in front of my backdrop. That's not kind of what I was expecting when the show was announced and I was gonna be covering it. I very much felt like, you know what, it'd be fun, be very fun. I've done some other like very unique outfit choices for my previous review, so I'm like, it's literally called Suits. So I'm like, Suits LA. So I'm like, let's get this done. Let's get this on the ball right here. But yes, so here we are. I apologize that our review is coming out a day after a lot of other people. I had a personal thing to attend to, so I chose to do that instead of watching it live. Sometimes personal life trumps doing these reviews. At times, you know, I'm a big fan of Stephen Amell. I've watched him since Arrow, going into his next show, Heels. Now this is his next project in Suits LA. If you're unaware, it's a spin-off sequel-ish show to Suits. It's same universe, but very independent from each other, which I think is really good, to say the least. It's really good because for me, like, I've only heard about the show. I think my first real exposure to the universe now it's a universe, with this show's entry, was with I think Meghan Markle. Like, I think it was like one of the pinnacle scenes. I was on the time she got married to Prince Harry at the time. So that was my first exposure. Then it obviously went on Netflix. So he had a very huge reception. A lot of people watched it. One of my friends, my close friends, she actually started watching it. And she binged the whole thing. And what was kind of stupid was, like, they put the first 8 seasons up and they kept season 9 kind of gate locked out of it. So for like almost a whole year, which I'm like, that's kind of shitty. Like, imagine binging almost the entire show and then the last season's just like locked behind a paywall until Netflix can just drop it. It's so weird. It really is. But yeah, so for me, I was very much like, you know, that was my only exposure. I've only watched a handful of clips that were available on TikTok. And then, then they announced this show. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested. But then, like, well, it's Stephen Amell, which, like I said, I'm a big fan of him. I also have Josh McDermott from the Walking Dead fame. And I'm always up for a challenge. I'm always up for something new. I very much like it because sometimes I get to learn new things. I am kind of reviewing a lawyer-esque show right now in Matlock. So it's kind of really, like, it's kind of different where, like, Matlock's more like a mystery. This feels like more like a traditional TV show where, like, life keeps going and you're kind of figuring out things about these new characters as you go along. And to kind of get into it, because I try not to read reviews ahead of time. I try not to let that dictate my exposure to the show. I always wanted to have my opinion be validated first in terms of when I watch it, and then when I can read other people's thoughts about it, see if I agree or disagree. Because that's the wonderfulness of, like, when you do reviews, is that you're always going to get different perspective on things. Sure, you might get, like, the one part like everyone loves, everyone talks about it, and then you get ones that are like, okay, well, it's kind of divisive. Like, you know, some people love it, some people hate it, especially when you are building on top of an existing show, an existing universe that you very much need to be careful, because you never want to trample on the legacy of what you did before and what you're creating now, because sometimes it will be the same, sometimes not. And, you know, I am reviewing this show with the context that I never watched the original series. Maybe I'll watch it someday in the future, but at least right now, I don't have that inclination to do that. I really don't. I am very much the mindset of, like, yeah, I want to review this as an independent thought process. You know, obviously I already know that a Suits alum is going to be coming over at some point later this season. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I know that you have to design products nowadays that have to be appealing to both the to people that are just coming in to a series for the first time, and then people that are obviously continuing from where you, and it's so hard to balance that at times because you never want to alienate one fan base or like, you don't want to just make another Suits show because yeah, that'll be great, but then you get to the comparisons, and then also you don't want to alienate old fans because then like, oh well, it's not for me, I'm just gonna tune off it. So for with that being said, now going into this, I think Suits LA was okay. I think for me, of my current review series lineup, I'm doing Rookie, I'm doing Matlock, and I just started Reacher. I think if I'm gonna rank it between those four, which again I know that's a very unfair comparison. It's a pseudo procedural with a legal drama mystery element. Then you have an action packed thriller. Like obviously these are four completely different shows. But when it comes to my engagement level from it, I very much want it to be still having all of these to be excited for. And not that's not to say I'm not excited for Suits LA. I'm very much interested to explore more of the psyche, more of like the mental headspace of these characters. I just feel like the pilot, well, again, I know some people say they hate the pilot because the word pilot, let me clarify, because it's always like a very hard soft launch where like you're obviously trying to kickstart a show, but at the same time you're also trying to do your best into like exploring this 1 hour of television that you're at least allowed to make, and kind of like see from there. Where for me, I was very surprised by some of the twists. I wasn't expecting certain things. I think the promotion material did a really good job of hiding it, and it kind of explained why I didn't see so much marketing off the gate. Like maybe again, when it comes to launching new TV shows, it's very hard. You gotta like really look for it. If you're not in certain circles, you won't find it. And I think this was one of those shows where like it was in a very specific circle, and even when what we got to see was very much not giving away a lot of things, which I think was benefiting the show itself. I just feel like we haven't. I don't have the hook yet. I don't have like that thing that's like really keeping me engaged for next week. I am still reviewing the show. We are reviewing every episode of Suits LA, however long I'll go for. But for me, again, like I think of the three Stephen Amell shows I've watched, I think this is the weakest. I think definitely when it comes to the actors, I think they do the very best job possible. Whether it's Stephen and Josh, again, I've seen them before in different mediums, that them playing these new characters are interesting enough. And then, like, obviously, when you have the new characters that, for me, the new actors and actresses I never got to see before, I very much was interested in seeing that where were we going to go from there? Like, how do we keep them engaged? Because again, you always want to have these sort of shows with like an anchor. Like, who is the guy who's going to bring in who's the woman who's going to bring in the most faces to it? Whether that is your now Alan Richardson, whether that is your Nathan Fillion, whether that is your Katie Bates. Here being Stephen Amell as first lead, it's like obvious to say the least. Like you're gonna bring over a certain amount, and it worked because like I'm one of them. You brought me in, now I'm kind of I'm here for it. However, it's gonna go. I feel like it needs time to grow, which again normally something that the pilot needs to be amazing from the get go to get people into it. For me, it's one of those rare cases I haven't had in a while where like the first episode, it is enough to get me to nibble, but it's not something where like I'm really hooked into right now. I think it's okay. I definitely see there is potential to do more, and I really can't wait to see how they're going to hopefully build on top of the foundation they build in this first episode. Definitely now that we kind of know the turns that we're expecting here, and I'm very much curious to see how we're going to progress with the show. What direction are we going to pivot in? And I think that's going to be the more engaging factor for me today. So with that all being said, let's get into the Butcher recap, where I basically review the entire episode scene by scene as best as I can in a very off topic type of thing. And yeah. So again, let's get into it. Let's review the series premiere of Suits LA. So I want to say we begin in New York, 2010. Where for a joke, because context, I live in New York. The original Suits series also is set in New York. So in 2010, I was 13 years old. I was 12 years old. I just got done with my parents' divorce, and that's kind of where I'm at that point in my life. Yeah, so we see Ted Black, Stephen Amell's new character, approaching a household in the middle of insert random neighborhood from the New York City here. There is apparently a case. He needs him to be a star witness. However, he's backing out of it because he is not. He's fearing for his safety. However, Ted, playing a very asshole move, decides, okay, you don't want to testify. Totally okay. However, the thing that was helping you out with your daughter, I will actually bring that to light. I will press official charges against her if you do not be my star witness. And obviously, they're having a back and forth over it. That, yeah, like, well, no, if you do that, like my daughter's life is ruined, but I also have to think about my own life. And that's kind of where the conundrum lies into play. And Ted, obviously being, at this point in his career, a criminal defense lawyer, he very much is in that mind space of like, you're either going to do this or you're going to do that. There is no two ways about it. And yeah, so he's about to leave. The guy kind of gives him like another pitch of like, please come on, like you don't understand. And he's like, oh, I do. But at the end of the day, like, again, he is the lawyer. He needs to be in court. He needs to take this guy down. This guy is the key to it. And that's what's going to happen. However, there is suddenly an explosion and it blows up the entire house behind them. And Ted is caught in like the backlash of it while the actual guy is caught in it. But we don't exactly know what happens next as we flash forward to present day. They don't specify the year, just as I think it's just present day. I'll just assume it's 2025. In LA, 15 years later, we see Ted waking up in his very nice, fancy mansion. I was a little confused here because I literally thought it was like only a year since that moment, which I was like, damn, Ted built up his empire pretty fast. If I say so myself. And yeah, so we arrive. Actually not yet. We meet his brother, who's about to make him some breakfast, kind of consulting him a little bit for another nightmare. And it's a very nice. Again, that's another twist of it. I wasn't expecting for Stephen Amell to have a brother on the show. I wasn't expecting that. That was a different. I wasn't thinking that at all. So like, it was kind of sweet. Like they were already showing like this like kinship between them, this trust between them. Like that already got sold in the first scene, for me. So that definitely was a clinch in the hole for that one. Then we properly cut to what's the name of the firm? Blake Lane firm, where they encompass a lot of things. We got Lane, who primarily handles criminal defense, and you have Ted, who does entertainment law. And that's kind of was like the marketing pitch for the show. It's like, you're going to get a lot of celebrities popping in and out, like either whether or not they're playing fake celebrities or real celebrities playing themselves. I think they already like kind of like pseudo confirmed a few of them, which I don't think are real. I think they just paid for their likeness. I think who was one that I saw that I knew for a fact they weren't Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm just like, there is no way Leonardo DiCaprio is ever going to show up in this show. Like, I'm pretty sure his appearance alone will cost him the entire season's budget. That's just how expensive that dude is. Yeah, so that's where we meet Stuart Lane, the other head of the firm. And he's immediately about to start his day. There's a big senior partner meeting today. They're about to have a merger with another firm. And I think it was a merger. Yeah, it was a new merger. And one of his associates comes up to him and said, there's a big case. One of our clients has just got into some legal trouble. Basically, will be the modern day O.J. Simpson, where he shot one of his fellow partners, and now he's facing actual serious, penalty time. So Stewart immediately tries to get this entire pitch ready to go to protect them, and immediately leaves the offices to go handle that paperwork. Meanwhile, we see Ted also already in the entertainment side of his office, pitching a new client, played by Victoria Justice from Victoria's Fame. It was actually really nice to see her again. It's been so long since I've seen her on TV. I think the last time I saw her was in 2013, so it's been so long. But she's playing a new up-and-coming action movie star. She's already wanting to get like a really big contract for her first like real major Hollywood deal. She's kind of been lowball before. Ted's here and like, look, I don't represent you yet, but I already got you a really, really nice deal for a first-timer. Then one of his associates, which is one of the leads of the show. Of all the characters, I deadass tried my best to remember their name. I completely forgot. I apologize. I was so close. Because I got 3 of the 4. Like, the poster people, I got 3 of the 4. I got Ted, I got Erica, I got Stewart, and I want to say the 4th guy's name is Ryan. I don't know why. He kind of looks like a Ryan to me. If I am shooting off the wagon, I apologize. I will get that rectified by the next episode review. Just bear with me. If there's something you should know about me, I am very horrible with names. It takes me multiple episodes to remember. I think it took me over 12 episodes to remember a recurring character on Matlock. And I just called her last character that I'd known her from and just put not in front of it. This is how it is. He steps in immediately coming with the pitch of like, wait, hold on, what are you doing? Like, we're not signed to her yet. She doesn't have to do anything right now. So I'm kind of where I'm legally confused. I think this was just a legal tactic they did to like kind of like, push her in this position where like you kind of have to sign right now to like, really get this deal. Even Ted giving them an ultimatum like, hey, look, you can sign the deal right now and I will defend you till my dying breath. But if you don't sign this contract, I will literally forget about you. Like next time you page my office, I'm like, who? That's the type of person he is. He's either now or never. So from there, they head outside. They immediately have a little jargon between them about their strategy that hopefully will work. Obviously, they're talking about this upcoming merger where it's with a known associate of Ted's past that there's obviously when a merger happens, there's the possibility that like, things could change. When a merger happens, when a new company takes over something else, there are going to be some changes. And her fear of before she signed the deal, because Ted gets what he wants. One of the caveats is like, hey, you may sign on to us today, but then tomorrow we may forget about you. We may not even get time to go to you because, like, again, shifting priorities, so to speak. But yeah, he gets the deal. They split off a little bit. Then Ted talks to Erica. There's this position opening coming up where someone gets to be head of entertainment. Right now, Ted is leaning more towards Ryan to get the role, but Erica's been working hard on it. She's been trying to do everything under the sun to convince Ted to give her the role instead, but he's kind of made up his mind that it's going to be him, and that's kind of where they're going to leave it off of that at the moment. We cut over to Stewart, who's in front of the one of the LA County jails, letting out his client, letting him know that, okay, here's the scenario we're in. I think possibly if we plead to a plea deal, you might get away with this nearly scot-free. But the guy's like, no, I didn't do it. I am totally innocent about this, but sadly there's a lot of evidence that says the contrary, and with no other witness testimony, it's really, really hard to prove his case. And Stewart's like, I will represent you, but I will have to use other strategies that will not get you fully clear from this incident. So that's kind of where his headspace is at right now. Then we cut over back to the firm where we see Ryan taking care of our first celebrity client, John Atmos, who, sadly, R.I.P. He has passed away since he shot the pilot. For me, I know him best from Coming to America, McDowell's. I think when I saw that movie for the first time, I said McDowell's like so many times that year. And I was actually very disappointed. I did not get to go to the McDowell's pop-up that was in Jersey. Just because I didn't want to travel that far. Just for imitation McDonald's. But I repeat to them. So in this universe, he's a struggling actor. He's been trying to get back out there. There's this new pilot coming out that he's circling around, but they're not giving him the time of day because of his age, of his discrimination, and they they kind of just want to stick with a new younger lead. And all he wants is audition, like a chance to prove himself. And Ryan's like, I understand that, but technically you're Ted's client. I can't go above Ted on this one. Like, he's personally handling you. You just need to be patient until he comes back. But he's like, no, I'm not getting younger, and the least thing I want to do right now is at least try my damn best to try and get this. So please, you got to help me on this. And he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And I want to say from there, we cut back to Ted. He's back in his office, pounding over some things. He speaks to his is it his reception? We learn eventually that he has a father who I'll talk about that when we get to his scene about it. And he's on his deathbed. He's about to die, and she's basically advising Ted like just take a flight out to New York, meet with him before he goes because you're gonna regret it. He's just like kind of not fazed by. He's like, no, I don't need to. He doesn't deserve it, and they kind of let it be for that moment. that's when I think Ryan comes in. They speak about the part. They speak about the role already. There's apparently Ted does like a lot of traditional bosses do. They talk about the promotion, but it never comes. And like Ted's like, as soon as the merge is complete, 100% you're getting the job. That will be your role. Just wait a little bit more. And he's like, okay. And also the same thing, he's reminding him about John Atmos. And Ted's like, look, we got enough on our plate. I will get to him when things kind of settle a little bit after this merger is complete. Yeah, then that's basically it. Then Ted goes over to Stewart's office to sign the paperwork for the merger, just to get both of their permission slips out of the way to do this. Apparently, the person they're merging with, I'm presuming the case because they don't really specify this. To be honest with you, is his ex I believe it's his ex-girlfriend firm, I believe so. Another New York transplant that came to LA. So I guess they're merging for some reason to become the biggest firm in LA, and that's sort of the plan right now for that. We get our first flashback, which that's not the first time I said Stephen Amell and flashback in the same episode review. It's not. We come back to New York just after the bombing, where Ted is leaving the hospital briefly, or he's circling the hospital, I'm not sure, and he meets up with his dad, Mr. Black, played by Matt Lachette, who portrayed Reverse Flash in the Arrowverse, who is now the dad to Green Arrow. And I'm just like, these two are not that far away in age from each other. I feel like they're only like a 10-year difference or something like that. And I'm like, they aged them up. They put so much makeup on it. Like, I'm not sure if that was just like Steven called in a favor, or like they actually they wanted him for the role, even though he was like young. I don't know, to be honest with you. It's just great to already get like an Arrowverse, like pseudo reunion already on like a new show. I love when that happens, when like one actor gets a new show, it gets popular, so they get like to pull to like bring some of their friends in, they'll get them paid, which is I love to see that. But the dad's there mainly to offer Ted a chance to like drop the case right now and then go over to his firm and immediately become senior partner right away. No, like day one, you're already promoted to the top. You skip all the lines, and Ted doesn't want that. He wants to work his way up. He wants to earn it the right way. And either way, he's not happy with his dad, but we don't know quite the details about that just yet. So he declines the deal. He heads back into the hospital, and the dad basically kind of curses him off, basically one side's like, I love you, come work with me. And then the next thing he knows, like, fuck you, like, get away from me. Like, I don't know anymore. I really don't know. So anyway, back to Ted and Stewart. Ted officially signs up on the merger with no questions asked. Apparently there was a bit of a skirmish about almost a year ago when this merger business was just starting, and that he owes it to Stewart by just accepting the merger. No specific more details needed, just whatever was already accepted by y'all. I'll sign for it, call it a day, and we move forward to being the biggest firm in LA. Stewart calls over to Ted to coordinate a date tonight to celebrate the occasion, get a little like one-on-one time. They haven't had that in a very long time. I know there was some there was a couple of building scenes with Ryan and Erica. Erica again, still trying to do her best to prove to Ted she can be the head instead of Stewart, instead of Ryan, and Ryan just trying to get a moment of peace, trying to just trap the fantasy football league, and then she gets asked by one of the associates from Erica to transfer over to him because she wants better work, she wants more opportunities to grow, and being with Erica is not giving her those opportunities. So she is trying to shake her horse up on the winning tree. Hopefully that's going to pay off for her and her career. He does not accept it fully, but he's very much like giving still advice where like, I could take you on right now, but you're only doing this to avoid Erica, who you're having issues communicating with. If you want to skip the line, that's fine. But the problem is that eventually you're going to find yourself a moment in core where you're going to find yourself going up against someone you can't skip. You got to go through them. Better you learn to get that through now than later, which honestly, that's really good advice. I cannot not falter on that. I remember. Okay, so I know before they leave for the bar for dinner. I know Ted goes downstairs to the entrance. He finds the same producer who's being accused of murder downstairs. He's begging him to take his case because he needs a real criminal defense attorney, and he knows Ted will give him a real fighting chance. While obviously Stewart is very much like, let's take a plea deal. Let's let's do the easy way out, but and as well as guaranteeing you'll serve the least amount of time, even if we can't prove that you're 100% innocent. Ted is back in that claim. I was like, look, I cannot be in criminal defense anymore. I can't do that. It's too much for my soul to not to do that. So I would advise you stay with Stewart, no matter what. He is your best chance. Just take it. Just that's what you got to do. So he's like, okay. It's the silent agreement. Then we cut over to dinner, I believe. I don't think I'm forgetting any other scenes. Where Ted and Stewart are enjoying themselves, having a nice laugh. You see an off camera George Clooney cameo. We don't see him. Don't expect him at all. And they're just making fun of it. Just one of those like, hey, we're mentioning this actor, but he's not here, so we're gonna make fun of him because he's just not here. They're just reminiscing on old times, like after 2010, after the incident, as they call it, Ted immediately moved out to LA. He crashed with Stewart for a while, and then a few years later, they started their own firm, and here they are, nearly a decade later, ready to merge with another big firm and become the biggest firm. And they're celebrating their success. They're celebrating how small they came and how big they are right now. So it's a big win from that. Eventually, Stewart kind of poaches him to like, let's just keep going. Let's just go have a drink somewhere. Enjoy ourselves. Keep the fun going. Which Ted's like, okay, let's do that. So they keep drinking. Ted comes back home. His brother picks him up drunkenly to his couch, just trying to it's been a while since he had fun. It's been a while until the next morning when he gets a call from Ryan saying that the entire floor is gone. Like our entire staff is gone. Ted rushes over there. Apparently Stewart poached them all. Apparently the merger gave him legal control to do whatever he wants with the firm. At a technicality, now he pulled nearly every single major associate they had, leaving Ted with basically the scraps. So obviously, Ted's in crisis mode right now. They got to maintain the talent they do have left, and as well as to pay shitty and get the other talent to come back under firmly just under Black, not under Stewart and his associates. So Ted's calling in all the favors, calling him in. He runs into a pro bono lawyer that just happened to be working at his firm that he never even knew about that existed, who's just, she's here really off the book. She has really no oversight by Ted. She's just there to work. She's there for free, right? To work these cases however she feels like it, and she doesn't have to take shit from no one. So even when Ted offers her $100,000, he offers her every perk under the table. She's like, nope, I don't need it. So you can go figure out your own problem on your own. Ted goes over to Stewart, yelling at him. Stewart admits the real reason why he's doing this is because, again, similar to what I said before, is that about a year ago, Ted said some very insultful comments that basically kind of undermined Stewart's position in the firm. Even though they're technically partners together, it did definitely undervalue his contribution, and he's really got pissed off since then. Ted tried to apologize. He said that was just a negotiating tactic. That really wasn't something personal. It was just very much for us to get ahead of the curve. Stewart doesn't believe that. He's just like, nope, I don't believe you. So guess what? Now I'm going to drain you dry. I'm going to leave you out to hang, and you're going to see how I felt like. And as your career crumbles around you. So obviously, Stewart, so both of them kind of play defense strategy mode. Ted working with any available associate he has left to poach the other clients. He even takes a recording of that conversation in which Stewart said, I'm keeping all the associates, even though I hate some of them because they have good clients. And once they're officially under my way, I will fire them. I do not care. Because for him, again, lawyers is a very cutthroat business, which is exactly why I didn't want to get into it. But yeah, Ted recorded that convo. He shared with one of his other agents, not agents, one of the other, I think it was an agent or another associate about it. They agree. Okay, yeah, no, definitely. I'll sign with you. And Ted's like, good. Get everyone you can. Make sure they sign with me by the end of the day to secure the financial future for the firm. Then we cut over to back to the firm. Erica shows up. She's still part of the team. She was not poached by Stewart, but Stewart does call her up, offering her an opportunity to join his team, with the exception of hey, you work 6 months undercover. You give me every single piece of information you have on Ted. And then once those 6 months are up, we betray him. And then you come work with me as the full head of entertainment. She doesn't answer right away. She really doesn't. But she is very much a little insulted the fact that, Stewart's doing this after all they built together, the way that it's treated, so it's like he threw it out. So yes, I think Ted goes back to the firm. Everyone's in survivor mode, trying to pull every single client they have possible. I know during the commotion, Erica's assistant comes to her, pleading to her like, "Look, I want a senior associate position. I deserve that. I've worked. I'm ready. You just need to give me the opportunity." She's like, "No, we're in the middle of a crisis right now. There is no time for promotions." And she's like, "Okay, well, either you give me the promotion or I'm going to go to another department that will actually take me as a senior associate." And Erica's like, "Fine. If you want to do that, okay. But I'm going to tell you a little secret to why that's not going to happen anytime soon if you stay with me." Which basically she's telling her about the whole steward plan of, like, the mole operation thing. But however, that associate eventually goes straight over to Ted, letting her know, like, "Oh no, yeah, Erica's gonna, she's gonna be a mole for steward. She's gonna be here for 6 months. She's gonna undermine your entire business." It's like, "I want to be senior associate, so I felt like it would be best for you to know." Ted doesn't answer. He immediately goes to Erica's office, yelling at her like, get out of my firm, get the hell out." Erica's like, "Nope, that was a loyalty test to see how she would do when given this critical piece of information, as well as to you on how your reaction would be." And I could tell both of y'all failed that test. Ted's like, "Then what are you playing at? Like, it's either you're trying to fuck with us or you're trying to fuck with both of us. You're trying to, like, what is the game here?" And she's like, "It's not game. It was just an opportunity to see where things are standing right now. On the other end of it, I still want to be with you, but at the end of the day, I was just testing the waters out a little bit, And she's also saying, "Well, if he reached out to me, what's the same way that he didn't reach out to Ryan?" Because I know there was another scene where, like, I think Ted was with Ryan before. They were still at the middle of the floor, kind of going through the state of the business. And Ted's like, "Yeah, no, I think it's best that we make you and Erica co-heads of entertainment. So you both get the position, you both get the opportunity to grow, and you both are happy." But Ryan didn't want that. He viewed Ted's recent actions as not what he strived for. That he looked at Ted as inspiration for his own career, but Ted's recent actions just proved to him that Ted is willing to do whatever it takes for the betterment of the firm, but not for the benefit of himself as his own attorney. So he leaves to depart for Stewart, and that leaves Ted with a big gaping hole in his team. I know we got another scene with John Amos concerning everything going on. As Ted's giving him, like, the spiel, like, "Look, give us a couple more days. We will take care of this. We will get you that interview. We will get you that audition." He's like, "That's not what really is the matter here, because, like, I'm seeing what's happening to you guys now, and, like, this is something that you got to address with, like, you got daddy issue," which I'm like, kind of random. You said that, like, I don't think there's a correlation there, but kind of random. But we do get another flashback where we're at the hospital. Ted meets up with his girlfriend at the time about what's happened. He's just brushing off the explosion, just ready to, like, kind of get to his client and figure out what the next course of action here so that they don't abandon the case. I want to say his partner at the time, his fellow associate, I don't know who. It's another guy. Is at the hospital. They're waiting for him too. They're talking about just, what if he dies? What do they do next? What is the next move there? Because, again, he is the star witness. They need him to fully proceed with the case. But sadly, before they can figure out a plan, the doctor does come to them and tell them that he sadly did pass away from the explosion. He's just going to handle it. So obviously they're fucked right now. But Ted does have an idea of, like, what if we just pretend he's still alive for one more day? Just give us enough time to pull a Hail Mary to get through this case. And obviously his associate's like, "What are you doing, man? This is the worst idea possible. Don't do this. Just, is this career suicide? You can literally destroy your license for this." And Ted's like, "Doesn't matter. Gotta do what I gotta do. Like, I'm not gonna let this guy go away scot-free. If there's a chance, if this move pays off and we can get him, that's all that matters." We cut back to present day where, so Ryan did, like I said, did leave the firm for Stewart. So now Ted's down a real man. He's, like, kind of figuring out what is his next move. What do they do now? Like, there really isn't much that he can do. He even speaks to Erica about, the full offer to, like, be the full head of entertainment. But Erica's like, "Nope, I know you're about to go for some shit right now, so it's better just make me a senior partner. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground level." And at first, Ted is like, "Absolutely not. This is not, again, the right time and place to be asking these sort of things." But eventually thinks about it, it's like, okay, I'm kind of at the screws end here. I kind of have no choice but to negotiate with her. So he approves that she will become senior partner of the new refurbished black firm going forward. I'm trying to remember if there's a scene, if we get to that to the fight scene. I don't quite think so yet. I could be wrong. I know he does meet up with Samantha, who, again, like I said, she has moved to LA and started her home firm there, who is merging, and he's trying to get, her advice, her assistance on the matter, but she doesn't budge as well. Ted's recent actions in New York has not really given her the benefit of the doubt to assist him further, which again makes it curious what did happen in New York. It's just, that's like really the big mystery for the scene. How did that case go about in New York? And that's kind of really the real little, like, Jab, like, come closer. Let's really explore this a little bit more deeper. As Ted departs from her house, like a little bit defeated, but just like not giving up about what his intentions are right now. I know he goes over to the producer client that he threw away to kind of get him back on board, and he does like have some adamentations about it, considering the fact Ted literally just said, "Nope, I'm not helping you. Go to Stewart. He's the best. He'll take care of you." At the time when they were still working together, obviously Ted's like tries to spin it around where like, but how do you know I was telling the truth? Like, maybe I was, but I made a mistake, or maybe I was wrong and you're making a mistake. It's kind of that crafty wording that kind of like, makes people like double think their decisions, which honestly is a really good tactic, to be honest with you. Ted hops on a flight to New York. He decides to go actually pay his dad a visit. Well, first he talks to his old partner first, trying to get his assistance on the producer case. He doesn't really offer him too much. They're kind of, still a little bad blood between them since Ted abandoned him years ago. He's kind of been like, at wit's end with his career. But he's still willing to give Ted a little bit of assistance on this matter, especially also telling him you should really speak to your father. Like, you're going to regret it if you don't go. You'll regret it if you don't give him like at least one more memory together despite your history together. So Ted's like, okay. So he goes over to his father's house. He's literally on death's bed, literally knocked out. Ted manages to use this opportunity to have a pseudo final discussion with him. And apparently the big twist was that apparently the brother died years ago. Ted's dad did not protect him in a moment, and there were some bad people that came and they attacked him, and they pushed him to the point where like to death, and he died. So Ted has never been able to forgive his father for that, even to now, where like even though Ted's here to kind of say his goodbyes, he does want to tell him like, you're gonna die alone because of what you did. So Ted leaves. He heads back to L.A. Erica's handling the ship in Ryan and Stewart's absence, even getting a little jab at the new senior associate that ratted out on her, saying that was a loyalty test. You may have failed, but right now I can only really give loyalty out if I can, test you for it. So, you're still here, but, you're on very, very thin ice right now. We cut to the courtroom where Stewart and the producer client are there. They're kind of a little baffled considering the fact they got summoned here, but neither one of them put the motion to do the hearing today, which turned out to be Stewart's case, Ted's matter, because to officially move over Stewart from main defense to now Ted, which is approved by the client. And obviously Stewart's pretty pissed right now about it. And Ted's just like, yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to win this case like I always do. There's nothing you can do to stop me. It's obviously like they're about to begin a really long petty feud over here. So, which will be very interesting to see how all that turns out to be. And then, we begin the case from there. Although for some thematic reason, Ted decides to leave the room, which I'm a little curious about, but it is what it is. Then Ted returns home. He is greeted by his brother, which again, we already know he's dead. So it's kind of his way of like processing everything and trying to like, move past it piece by piece. And he looks at a photo of him and his brother, just where he's taking off day just to spend the day with his brother. Even if he's not there, in spirit he is. And that was it for the series premiere of Suits LA. Like I said, I think it was okay. I definitely didn't feel as much hooked into like I was hoping to be. I was very much hoping for a little bit more, but again, this is, I think, is salvageable to kickstart a whole new show, kickstart a whole new corner of this universe with these new characters. I love how Steven and Josh managed to not spoil the fact they were going to be against each other throughout the entire promotional marketing. I think that was a very well done move. I think that their dynamic is going to be a very interesting core for the show as they explore their disdain for each other moving forward. I am very some of the comedy hits. Not often than not. I maybe got a couple chuckles out of me when it was clear to be real jokes. And it may seem like a little cliche, the whole Ted and Dad storyline. I'm very curious to see how that exactly is going to go. But I feel like we got the majority gist of it from this first episode. So I feel like I said, they kind of have to give you enough to kind of hook you in, but at the same time, don't give you everything on the table because they kind of need to stretch it out throughout the entire season. And my only thing is like some of the editing is a little off for me. Like I'm not used to it. Some of the decision like let's just cut out Ryan from the second half of the episode with him just joining Stewart off screen. I didn't really like that. I would have liked to have like a moment between them was kind of like one of those offhand remarks. Like I know it was like one of those acceptable leaps of faith, but I was expecting a little bit more with that, to be completely honest with you. And seeing John Amos again for the last time, R.I.P. I think he did a really good job, kind of like kickstarting like the show from a different perspective and kind of pushing Ted to where he needs to go next in his career as he's kind of pushed into this very uncomfortable corner. And yeah, I think again, like I said, this was okay. I hope there is room for improvement as we progress through the next weeks to come as the show continues to air. And I'm curious to know more at least, but it does not really hook and sinker for like giving me much hype and expectation for next week's episode. So that's just my opinion on it. So with that being said, I'm going to give this episode 1 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the series premiere of Suits LA. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the hopeful first season of Suits LA. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two, besides our episode reviews of Suits LA, every Tuesday we do episodes reviews of The Rookie after brand new episodes on ABC at night. We also do Madlock episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on Thursday nights on CBS. We also do Reacher episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on Amazon Prime on Thursday nights. But if you don't care about Suits LA, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode, hopefully on our new scheduled time on Sunday nights. So stay tuned until then. But again, till we see each other then, please, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to, ring that bell, and follow us on social media to stay up to date with more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.